Hello? Alright. Can whoever's here? Hi, Rudy. Can you hear me? Ba. You can hear me? Awesome. Alright, cool. So, yeah. I don't know how many people are going to be showing up, but I'll wait a little bit before getting into the musical portion. Hopefully everything will work all right. Actually, let me know if y'all hear like a little doo. Were y'all able to hear that? All right, great. And I would recommend wearing headphones or earbuds or something along those lines if you have those, because I'll be like I can do effects that are different in each ear, but obviously if you don't have those or inaccessible or for whatever reason, that's totally fine. But yeah, at 8:05 I'll start like explaining this and then we can jump into the musical portion. But glad that some people have arrived. All right, so it's 8:05 now. So let's get into what this is. So this is a program called Sonic Pi, and it's it's basically it uses a programming language to create music. So as y'all already saw, you can type play and then a number, and it will play a note for you. And then the higher or lower the number is, it will affect which note gets played. So with that, you can technically create just about every song out there. You can even technically go between those, like 63.5, that will be that would be between whatever two notes those are. I think 63 would be an E flat, so that would be like a sharp E flat if you did 63.5. But fortunately, you can also just type the note names. Additionally, there is randomness, which is one thing that I don't really think you can do anywhere else outside of live coding. But if I create a loop, it's going to just do whatever's inside of this forever. So it's going to keep playing this note over and over again until I stop it. But what I could do is give it a list of a couple of notes it can choose from, and then use .choose, and now it will just choose a random note. And I guess the last really important thing to know is that the program comes with quite a few pre-made samples. So you can play a sample and yeah, there's a lot of drum sounds available as well as various other ones, and they're all listed here if I need them. We've got a cowbell, so we can have some more cowbell if y'all want. But yeah, I guess we can just get right into it. So one thing that's always fun to start with is creating a drum beat. So I can do something called a live loop. And what that would enable me to do is it'll create a loop that'll continue playing over and over. And if I hit the run button again after changing something within the loop, then it will enable me to basically change the music while it's playing without the music actually stopping. So let's maybe create a very simple drum beat. And this is pretty slow, so what I can do is I can change the tempo with use BPM. And maybe I'll change the rhythm up a bit. And then something I like to do, I don't know if this is common or what, but it can be fun to have the different drum sounds play in different ears. So by using pan, I can make the bass drum play in the left ear and the snare drum play in the right ear. So if you're wearing headphones, it can sound kind of cool. Although typically I prefer it to be a little less extreme. So the bass drum, by using 0.5, I can make it sort of lean into whichever ear it wants to go in instead of being only in that ear. However, one problem you might encounter if you're creating a bunch of live loops at the same time is that they might not sync up, because if you start one later than the other one, Black Magic, is that a song I'm not familiar with? I'm sorry. Witchcraft with the ear switching. Oh yeah. Oh, I see the problem here. Okay. Oh wait, no. I'm trying to get it to cue it with each measure, but it's seeming to wait a little bit between each one. Uh-oh. Yeah, see, so I'm still kind of learning the ropes for this program, so I'm actually not sure why this isn't working. Oh, it's kind of working. Okay, I'm really sorry. There we go. I swear I've done this before and it worked, and now it's just deciding not to. But such is the nature of programming. There's some simple thing that I'm missing. And I think that was it. Nope, that was not it. So the reason that I'm getting confused is because what I'm trying to do is have this director loop here wait 4 beats, and then it will set the beats per minute to 150, which will then, for sync, anytime that set is done, it will activate sync. So this should activate every 4 beats, but it sounds like it's activating every 5 beats instead, which is why I'm getting really confused by it. So for example, this thing I made here, I did kind of the same thing, except for every 3 beats because it's in 3/4 time. But I will demonstrate this other thing that I've made though. I put this one up on Instagram, but I can show it off here too, and also demonstrate a bit of live coding. Could it be the sleep on the individual note after the 4B loop? Maybe. But yeah, so what I did there was I changed up the piano live loop in the middle of the code, and then I hit run again, and it added the piano in because now the piano is playing. And I've set up this kind of system here. So what it does is this line here, I have 4 predetermined rhythms that it's allowed to pick from. And then once it picks the rhythm, it will then pick which notes it's going to play towards those rhythms. And the way it picks the notes is that whichever like chord is currently being played by the that part, whichever chord that is playing, the piano will take notes from that chord and just randomly choose one. And there's a few other rules, like if it picks the same note twice in a row, there's a chance it will play the note above it instead of just doing the same one twice in a row. So there's a chance that it'll play notes that aren't actually in the chord. And then also on the downbeat, it'll always play either the first or the fifth because that usually sounds better. But I can also adjust the piano's range. So it has a range of, I think, 4 different notes that it's allowed to pick from. But I can make the piano say, have a different set of notes. So now it'll be an octave higher. I could give it a very wide range of notes, and now it can go from a relatively low octave to a pretty high octave. Yeah, we can, a different one that I've made that I've had some fun with is this one here. So what I usually do whenever I guess perform this one, for lack of a better word, is I start out with just the drums, or sorry, just this like chords. And then I can add this guitar in. And it's doing a very similar thing to what the piano in the other example was doing, of just picking random notes from the chord. So it's actually the computer doing most of the heavy lifting here. I just set up a couple of rules, and then the computer does the rest of it, which is very different from making normal music, I guess. hey, thanks, Fortuna. Yeah, and AI composition. Yeah, I guess it is artificial, although I'm the one with most of the intelligence, and then the computer is just kind of picking random notes. And I'm gonna cheat and just use the volume slider to do a fade out. So yeah, and that's kind of the essence of live coding. Of course, you can... I think that ideally I wouldn't have all of this prepared ahead of time. I would just type it in on the go. But yeah, you always thought music with a bit of random elements would be cool. Never knew there were programs for it. Yeah, I think this is... I wouldn't say this is new. I think this has been out for a while, but it's incredibly niche, so... Oops. It's not something that you just... It's not something most people have encountered. I first encountered this about 2 years ago, and then started to really dive into it, like, I guess 2 weeks ago now. Oh, actually, I'm going to show one more that I thought was really funny. So this one here, this one is another example of the sort of song that can really only be created with this coding mindset and not so much, well, it could be created with traditional writing, but not exactly, it's way easier with code though. So it's not exactly this, I've modified it, but if you've ever seen a video of like all the pendulums that are swinging at different frequencies and then they lined up, I thought it would be interesting to take a chord and have the first note of the chord played every beat, the second note of the chord played every other beat, the third note played every third beat, and so on. So by doing that with code, it's pretty easy because I can just have a counter and then be like, oh, if it's the fifth one, play it the fifth time or whatever. And whenever I did that, it ended up sounding pretty funny. So I added these like silly sounding drums to it and picked a funny synth, and then you get a meme song. And it's just transposing up and down chromatically, so that's how it's gonna... It's literally just doing the same thing over and over, but going up and down a bit. And I'd imagine this would be... I mean, this probably isn't something you just listen to for fun, but it would certainly be a pretty funny sound to have played in, like, I don't know, the theme of a really dumb video game character or something. But yeah, I think it's about time we return to this original issue here. So I guess I could just take this out for now. Play this when spam callers call you. Oh, for sure, yes, that would be awesome. And I think they record your voice too. Hey Corbin, how's it going? So, yeah. Well, I guess we can go ahead and just try and add some stuff on top of it. It won't be as seamless until I can figure out what's going on. But yeah, does anyone have I guess, I don't know how musically knowledgeable this audience is, but if anyone has an interesting chord progression in mind, we can implement that. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to use a generic, like, I forgot, I have to look it up, but it's like 1, 3, 4, 5 or something like that. Okay, so 1, 6, 4, 5. That's what it is. 2, 5, 1, please. Use 1, 5, 1. I mean, actually, that would have probably sound pretty good, because the first and the fifth note. 2, 5, 1, though. I can see how that sounds. So what I'm gonna do up here is create the chords. So I'm just gonna, because it's easy, I'm gonna use C major. So we'll start with 1, so I'll use I. 1 equals, and then chord C2 major. And then I love how your musical knowledge combines with programming. Yeah, it's really, I really like this, I guess, artsy side of STEM, and I'm pretty happy to be involved in it. Okay, actually I think it might honestly just be easier to type the chords out. So E2, G2, C3, E3, G3, C4, E4, and G4. Okay, that should be okay for now. Okay, so then 2, that'll be, oh wait, that's not even a chord. I'm using a ring. So don't get too caught up in the syntax if you're not familiar with it. I guess just get lost in the music if possible. But ring, so 2, the 2 for C, that's D. So D, 2, F2, A2. And then the last one, okay, 5, so V. So that's G, B, and then D. With 2, 5, 1, it's a minor 2. Yeah, isn't that D minor, D, F natural A? Wait, I thought IV was 4. And then the major 5th, so the reason your username has 151 is because of music? Oh, that's pretty cool. D4. Alright, so now we have our 1, 2, 5 chords at the ready. Alright, and now what we can do is create something called a ring. So I'm just going to call it chord progression equals, and then ring I, V, all those years of Latin have failed you. Oh, 251 was already taken, so use 15124. Where's the 24 then? I only see 151. Not on the clock art at your grandpa's cousin's house? I'm not sure what that's about. Okay. So I think one of my favorite synths to use is the chip bass synth. I think it's just because I like video games, but I really like the chiptune sounds. Oh, 5 numbers were too much. That's fair. It would be a bit excessive to have more than like 2 or 3. Synth and chip bass. So what I can do is, in the director loop, I set the current chord to chord progression, and I'm gonna use index. And then what this tick here is gonna do is it's just gonna increase index by 1 every loop. And then this sort of, with the ring, if you're familiar with code, it's pretty modular, so it's 0, 1, 2, but then if index is 3, it'll actually just go back to the first one, and then if it's 4, it'll do the second one. So it lets me just go on forever, and I can use the index in multiple rings if I happen to have them. On some social medias, it has all 5 numbers. Oh, interesting, yeah. Kind of interesting Aidentode wasn't taken. I guess maybe, I think my name got, okay. Get current chord. And then this take 3 here. Well, actually that probably wouldn't sound good because it's not properly inverted. So I'm gonna fix that up here. There we go. Now it's inverted right. Okay. So it's gonna, for the chip bass, it's gonna take the bottom 3 notes of the chord, and then I'll just play them, honestly. Play notes. Oh, of course. And it looks like it's just something's not working. Inverted. Bum, 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 da, 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 da. I'll just restart it. And what I'm trying to do here is sync them together, so this director loop, every 4 beats it will cue measure, and then whenever measure is cued, both chords and drum should simultaneously start. Whether or not that's actually going to happen, we'll see. Okay, this is progress. They're at least playing at the same time. I'm not gonna lie, this is very frustrating because I'm using the exact same technique that I had used for the other stuff that I showed y'all, and it's just not working because reasons, I guess. Oh, actually, there might... I figured out why the bass isn't doing the chord progression now. It's because I was just using... It's because of a typo. That's embarrassing. Oh, this is a huge facepalm moment. It's because the director loop is literally using a slower BPM than the rest of the loops. I'm kicking myself right now. Okay. That took an embarrassingly long amount of time to figure out, but now we're cooking. Alright, so next... What I'm gonna do now is okay, that didn't do anything actually. programming doesn't have typo check. Some languages do, or some like code editors do, but unfortunately not this one. It's not going to tell me if I have a typo until I try and run it. So, and even then, sometimes the typos don't actually cause errors, they just cause malfunctions. And then got to now check because I forgot exactly what it is. Yeah, okay, it's stretch. Is this an online IDE? No, this is something I downloaded onto my laptop. It's called Sonic Pi. But I'm sure there are like online IDEs that you can use that are similar, probably even better than this, honestly. But yeah, let's create some interesting sounds now. So I guess I'll call this melody, even though it's probably not going to be too melody-like. For people who are still here, I'm going to show off a cool effect. So this does feature custom functions, and I've written up a number of them. And my favorite one is called Jux, which was just inspired by something else I saw. But what it does is if you give it a list of notes, it'll play it forwards in one ear and backwards in the other ear. So if you've got headphones on, you'll be in for a treat. So let's see how this sounds. Pretty neat. So this is the chip lead synth. Sounds pretty neat. I could use the piano synth as well. That's kind of nice. The piano synth, it's not like in your face, and it sounds pretty. So I think I'll keep with this one actually. Yeah. Does anyone else have any ideas or suggestions for something they might want to hear? Oh, actually, the lick. Can you put in an existing song? Technically, yes. If I import an existing song as a sample, then I could play that song as a sample and also potentially do things from it. Strings? What do you mean by strings? Like... A bass guitar is a string instrument. Fun fact, some modern death metal bands nowadays ditch actually having a drummer and use drum machines for recording purposes. That is interesting. Alright, I've set up some, I don't know how interesting these will be, but I've set up 3 different possible rhythms. Got to go. Alright, have a good night, Corbin. Then I'm gonna classic programmer's move. I'm gonna copy and paste, and then I don't know how good this particular synth sounds for the bass guitar. Will this session be saved to watch later? Yeah, I will save it. I'll probably upload this to YouTube if I can figure out how to download it as well. I might also make recordings of the songs that I'll try recording this one even, as well as the other two that I showed. But yeah, honestly though, I think that unfortunately as of now, I've about reached my limit for what I know. And I think just learning more about music theory, and music composition will be the next logical step for getting better at this. Because in terms of programming knowledge, I'm no like programming expert, I have a lot to learn, but I feel like I have a pretty solid foundation at this point and am not too concerned anymore about the technical aspect of it. Try raising the drum sound? Yeah, I can do that. If you're interested in a decent music theory source, Teoria is a pretty good website. It's lessons, definitions, with examples in your training as well. Yeah, thank you so much. Lemon Mush. I will write that down right now. Alright. Yeah, but with that, I think that's about as far as I can go with this session. So thanks everyone who came, I really appreciate it.